I believe that the fires we're cast upon are the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the saved.
Larry Pollock, Luke Carroll here. Leo is traveling in Austria this week to compete, so he will be here next week, but not this week. Today, we're going to go over something that's kind of hot on the news again, which is site enhancement. Specifically, we're talking about PMMA, and I'll get into details for anybody who doesn't know what that is and how it all came about. There's different people on different podcasts saying different things about the current situation, everything from this is the hugest scandal in all of bodybuilding, and it's going to make national headlines, and the end of the world. And then we have other people saying it's not even a big deal. So, I can tell you, I have strong opinions on this. I think Luke does as well, and I'll get into details of what I think. And there's the first of all, let's talk about what PMMA is. For anybody who doesn't know, I think PMA was made famous originally by Rich Piana, and what it is, it's a plastic, and it's little plastic beads, and it's surgically injected into the muscle fibers, and it permanently bonds with the muscle fibers. It's basically a filler. I guess it's sort of like silicone, but it's not. It's because it's actually plastic, and it makes the muscle bigger. My personal experience with this is Rich Piano came to me about 2 weeks before he wanted to compete in the Mr. California, the last competition he ever did. And he wanted me to help him prep the last 2 weeks for the competition. He flexed his arm, and I will say it was probably the biggest arm I've ever seen. It had to be 24, 25 inches. And the first thing I said to him is, "What is in your arm?" And he said, "Nothing. It's just site enhancement." He said site injections. I'm like, "Come on, Rich, this is me. I can see there's like something in your arm." There was no separation between his bicep and his tricep. It was one big mass, looked like a football. And it didn't really change shape when he flexed. Yeah. It was huge, but it was just this big mass. And I said to him, the judges are going to see that. I can see it clearly. They're going to be able to see there's something in your arms. Of course, he was a bit of a nut job. He went on to cheat on his contest prep diet the night before. He went to a buffet and did all you can eat the night before the show, not after.
Junk load?
Huh?
He was trying to junk load? Or he just couldn't handle the diet?
He had a buildorexia thing. And, he had this thing in his head. He had like that literally the opposite of anorexia, what they call it, buildorexia, something like that. Yeah, bigorexia. And I guess he just thought he wasn't big enough. Yeah. So the night before, I called him. I'm like, "How's it going?" And he's like, "I'm at the buffet." I'm like, "You're at the buffet? Like, why are you at the buffet?" And he just hung up on me.
Got to be bigger.
he wanted to be bigger. So, anyways, I never thought that PMMA would really make its way into mainstream bodybuilding at the highest levels, like at the Olympia, because what the people that I saw doing it was like Rich Piana and that Golem guy, and it was so obviously distorted looking.
Maybe they overdid it.
That it didn't look like muscle; it looked like just this big, massive thing. So I didn't really think that anybody would would try to do that, but I guess like anything else, they try to figure out ways around it. Now, one thing I want to talk about, PMMA, like we talked about, was the plastic. It's the newest thing that they inject. Prior to that, we've had hyaluronic acid, which we've talked about, which was like another type of filler that people put in that pumps the muscle up with more fluid. And before that, there was Synthol, which is just oil injected into the muscle. And prior to that, we even had acetylene, which was just an inflammatory thing, which you injected in the muscle, and the muscle would become inflamed temporarily.
I wonder if anybody ever tried Juvederm, that stuff that they put in like people's lips, and
that's what hyaluronic acid is.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's just filler.
Yeah.
So
anyways, one thing I think is kind of hypocritical in a way is you have these bodybuilders from the 80s, 90s, I should say 90s, really, that are so against speaking out against the
use of SEO.
Use of PMMA or site enhancement. But let's get real here, guys. Back in the 90s, almost every single pro on stage was full of Synthol.
They're the ones that pioneered it.
Yeah. And I know because, well, Boston was the first person to tell me about it. But then I trained with Nasser El-Sabadi, and he's the one that showed me how to use it.
Yeah.
And Nasser told me all about where he put it and showed me where he put it. And one thing I can tell you about the Synthol, if it was done right, you couldn't really tell. Like, I mean, you might have had an idea, but I can tell you, Nasser showed me his arm one day. He flexed his bicep, and he said, I put it here, here, and here. And his bicep was completely striated and hard as a rock and full of veins. He put it deep underneath the muscle, so it pushed the muscle up and out.
Yeah.
But it didn't blur his definition.
He must not have had it bleed out like you did. He must not have trained heavy with it.
No. I trained with him, and part of the thing that didn't work for me with training with him is we did all this pumping shit. We would go really, really fast, like almost like cardio. Yeah. He would do a set, I would do a set, and it was just like 20 reps every set with light weight, and it was just pump. And I was used to training with heavy weight. That's how I built my muscle in the first place. So training like that, I just lost muscle. Besides that, he had me doing too much cardio and not eating.
Yeah.
So I just shrunk up. But yeah, he didn't train heavy. He would just we would like superset arms, and it would be like a cable tricep extension with a cable curl, and we just like pump out sets of 20. It was just like pumping blood. There was no heavy lifting at all going on.
Is that how guys trained when they were using insulin also? Just getting real big pumps from the insulin? I
think insulin works a little bit differently. I mean, there is some thing to that about driving nutrients in the muscle with the insulin, but I think you can do that training heavy or not.
Yeah, I've just seen guys, build a lot with insulin, and then when they take it out, they kind of like deflate pretty quickly. So I was just wondering if that's like kind of goes hand in hand with the SEO and the insulin, maybe not trying to use it together, but I've seen guys that use insulin. They just like get like, I remember Rich Piana had a protocol, like before he would do an expo, he would like take out all his lower his protein and just jack up his carbs and do like a shitload of insulin just to like get super inflated from the insulin.
Yeah. You super carb load basically.
Yeah.
So you just had a lot of blood volume.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think probably like it's a combination of that.
Well,
but with him, he had the PMMA in it. So the only thing I think that would do for him is make him more vascular, because The
I mean,
size
it
was
would,
already there from
yes.
the PMA.
I mean, he didn't really care if he was like spilled over because he just wanted to be big. So, you know, it would probably inflate him some, just make him 10, 15 pounds heavier just in general. So that's probably what it did for him, because he didn't care if he was, you know, watery or whatever, because he just was like trying to be huge in a tank top or in
Right.
a t-shirt. So it wasn't like he was like on a stage trying to look peeled. So he was just doing it to like look inflated.
Well, he
But
did go on the stage at the Cal, the last contest he ever did in his life,
yeah.
and he looked like total shit.
What let's hear. I mean, I heard that one guy's opinion on it. He thinks the sky is falling and this is could make national news. I want to hear your opinion on this PMMA scandal.
Okay, well, I have some strong opinions on it. First of all, I started bodybuilding in the 80s. The only site injection thing that we had was, I think I heard about it about the acetylene from actually Rich Gaspari showed me how he did the acetylene, and he did it in his biceps and his triceps. And it was like the night before the show, he put like a half inch on his bicep and a half inch on his tricep, and it made it a little more pumped looking. But that was about as far as it went. We didn't really have site enhancement. And the first bodybuilders that I ever encountered was number one, Tom Platz at a guest posing 1 week before the 81 Olympia. I was 13 years old, and I watched him guest pose, and he gave me his upper body training manual and his lower body training manual. And he was an absolute freak. And as everybody knows, his training intensity was legendary. And the first bodybuilder that I ever watched train, I walked into Don Peter. Actually, I stood in the window at Don Peter's gym, and I've told this story before. I looked through the window, and I saw these massive shoulders and arms with huge, heavy dumbbells, like 150-pound dumbbells, just doing shoulder presses. And it was facing away from me, and it was like huge black shoulders and arms, and they were pumping, going as kind of a weird pumping, like not evenly pressing. It was like one would press and it would press like unevenly. But anyways, these huge white guys were standing on the side of him, like holding it. And I honestly thought that it was a gorilla. I didn't think it was a human because he was so freaky. And then they took the dumbbells and he stood up and turned around, and it was Bertle Fox. Yeah. And I was like, that's a big man. And anyways, I ended up joining that gym, and Bertle was like instantly my hero because he trained like a freaking monster. I mean, his training intensity was unreal. And he was so big. I mean, his shoulders and arms were freaking ridiculous. He was always training in a sweatshirt, and his sweatshirt was like bursting at the seams. It looked like it was going to explode. And the guy would do like 120-pound incline dumbbell curls, pressing like 150-pound plus shoulder presses on the dumbbells. He would do a strip set on bench press, starting with it was like 500 pounds. He'd put 225 and then he'd put 35s all the way to the end till it was like 500 pounds. And he'd do like 4 or 5 reps, and they'd pull the 35 off each side, and he'd keep going all the way back down to 225.
How does this relate to the SEO?
Well, in that time, it was like all about the training. It was all about the training. You know, it was just like whoever trained the hardest would be the best. That's what we all believed, because the guys that were the best were the ones that were training the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
they just
Don
have
Peter,
genetic freaks also.
Well, yeah, there was genetics too, but you know, I used to think at that time, I used to think you could out-train your genetics.
Mm-hmm.
And to an extent, I probably did do that because I was a skinny kid starting out. And in just a few years, I was pretty damn big. But I trained my ass off. Like from the age of 13 on, I trained my ass off from the get-go. So it was like the harder you worked, the more muscle you'd grow. and there was a direct correlation between that. So it was kind of like you had to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
You really had to earn it. And
so that's what you're saying, is that you kind of don't like the SEO because you're not earning the size or the look.
I don't like it for a few reasons. Number one, it's I when I started, the bodybuilders I looked up to were big and they were strong. And I wanted to be big and strong. I didn't want to have just like big muscles that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to be strong and big. And I did get big and strong because I trained hard as shit. And we lifted heavy, you know. And you know, when I trained with Mike Menser, we trained heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. You know, I didn't want to be. I remember Don Peters was telling me, you're not doing it right. You need to do this like slow motion reps and lightweight. And I looked at him. He was a former Mr. America, and he was the owner of the gym, and he was trying to be like everybody's coach. And I said to him, I said, "You see that guy over there?" And I pointed at Burl Fox. I said, "I'm not trying to be like you. I'm trying to be like him." And he's not doing what you're saying. He's lifting heavy weights.
Yeah, Bertle Fox was a freak, but
He was a freak.
He was a freak because he trained hard and because he had crazy genetics, but they went hand in hand.
Right. But you know, like genetics aside, you know, you still had to work your ass off to get there.
Yeah, I think everyone does. I don't think that there's I mean, people are shitting on Derek and Andrew and stuff and saying all this, but I mean, I've seen Derek train in person, and he trains very heavy. You know, he does 8 and 9 plate hack squats, and 5 and 6 plate deadlifts, and he trains very hard.
Yeah, I just saw him do a thing at T-bar rows with like 9 plates on it.
Yeah, he's extremely strong. So I don't know. I mean, he's definitely like all these guys that are big, except for those guys in like Brazil that are, you can just tell they have 4 gallons of oil in them. Like these guys all train, pretty hard and heavy. I mean, some of them don't have to train as hard as the others, but
well, I trained arms one day with Rich Piana, and it was the same shit like what we did with Nasser.
Yeah.
That pumping shit with a lot of reps.
Well, he probably couldn't train too heavy, because if you have all that filler in there, I mean, they probably weakens the muscle. It makes it where it's probably easier to get an injury. He was probably afraid to get injured if he trained, for extreme, as you would think that someone that has 25-inch arms would train.
Well, not even that, but there's a video of him training with what's his name, Mike O'Hearn, and they're training arms, and Rich is like double the size of Mike O'Hearn. And Mike O'Hearn's lifting twice the weight of Rich.
Yeah.
On all the exercises.
Mike's a freak. He does power bodybuilding.
I know, but I'm just saying, Rich is twice his size, and he's doing this like 20 reps with 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And Mike O'Hearn's like stacking the thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wasn't really a fan of it. And when it came to the acetylene, I'm like, okay, so you're going to put like a 1/2 inch on your tricep and a 1/2 inch on your bicep the night before a show. Like it's going to be like a little, it's almost like, carbing up.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit of pump, it's
not. To me, that's what SEO should be. It should be just enhancing. Say you don't have a good peak on your bicep, or say your bicep is so much bigger than your tricep. You only put it in spots to kind of balance something out, or to like make something look a little bit more accentuated. If you're trying to grow your body part with SEO, I think that it's going to look like shit. You're going to end up getting what you had, and you're just going to like, get issues where you get necrosis down in the deep muscle tissue. You're going to get, injuries and stuff like that. You're going to have it push out of the muscle and then underneath the skin if you're trying to use it to grow. If you need to grow the muscle, and then just use it if you're, trying to accentuate something specifically.
Right. So anyways, it went from that to the Synthol, and I really wasn't I knew of Synthol, but I didn't really understand it completely till I saw Boston. And Boston went from this skinny kid to he had like 21-inch arms.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was pretty damn fucking big.
Yeah.
If you stood next to him, the dude was tall. He was like,
he was probably like 6 foot, 6'1", and probably close to 260, I would say.
Yeah, he was big, really big. When I saw him, I hadn't seen him for probably, I don't know, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And then, we went to where we were. We were at some show. And I ran into him. And I'm like, God damn, he got big. And I was big at the time, but he was like super jacked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all Synthol. But on him, somehow he pulled it off that it didn't really look that bad.
I mean, I could see it on him because like there's just a thing where like the bicep, when they start injecting so much that it just kind of has like this odd swollenness to it, and it kind of just doesn't move the way that an arm should. So I mean, when you kind of start to get used to seeing it, so the best guys that do it are guys that you just can't even tell. You know, it still has the muscle striations underneath. It still moves. It's just like, it's just making a little bit more peak or something instead of trying to grow the whole area.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Dexter, when he continued to compete, and he said he liked his look better when he was lighter, but he said in today's bodybuilding, when he was competing at the end, that wouldn't work because he wouldn't be big enough. And he was putting, my understanding is he was using that hyaluronic acid shit. And I saw him, and he looked shredded and big and just freaky.
Yeah. I mean, I think he would still be competitive with his like 2008 look nowadays. He would just kind of be like a William Bonnick, kind of a smaller guy, but still, I mean, a lot of guys are on the smaller side right now, you know, Derek, Martin, William.
No, I'm just saying I saw him in person before he retired, training in Golds, and he was big, really big. Yeah. His arms were freaky, and they were shredded.
He had great shoulder and arm genetics.
Yeah.
But get to your point, what you think about this.
So the PMAA, first of all, I have a couple of issues with it. Number one, obviously it's not real muscle. It's just plastic in the muscle. Okay. So is it cheating? Technically not, because there's no rule against it. There's no rule in the IFBB that says you can't do it. Would I want to have that? No, because I don't know. I just think it's weird to have just fake. It's like if I got an implant in my arm. To me, it'd be the same thing as if I got some kind of implant put in my arm. It would just be, it's not muscle. It's just plastic, literally plastic.
Well, you wouldn't personally want it. I mean, I don't know. You might, it might be useful for you too, because you have that tricep that you had reconnected that kind of goes real flat. So you could maybe make your triceps equal if you put some in one side, not the other.
If I was competing, I might consider doing that. But like for me right now, like I could give a shit, you know, like you can't really tell unless, you know, I'm staring at it. And it's not going to help my training putting that plastic in there. I'm not going to be able to lift it.
It's exactly what you said. It's just an implant. It's just for looks. Well, I feel kind of like people are forgetting that the whole wellness division is based around this stuff. Like those girls aren't growing, you know, big Rammy size glutes and quads from just training. I mean, they're definitely
that's a good point.
Using this stuff.
Let's hone in on that for a second, because you know, people are really bringing this stuff up with Natalia and Derek, and I'm not trying to throw them under the bus. Yeah, but this has been going on in the wellness for a while, and it really started off in Brazil.
That's in Brazil.
The Brazilians are like, crazy.
Brazil's wild. They'll give you like it's like growth hormone is like a common prescription there. Like they do TRT and growth hormone and all kinds of like a lot of body modification in Brazil. It's like they're like the pioneers of body modification.
Yeah, and then everything goes down there because it's all completely legal.
Yeah.
Now, so I mean, is it cheating? I mean, there's no rule against it.
Yeah.
So technically it's not, but I wouldn't want it in myself and I wouldn't be proud to have it necessarily. Like,
well, let's go back. Hold on. Before you say that, when you used Synthol 20 years ago, would you have liked it if it just stayed at its best it ever looked and it didn't go away? Would you have liked that look if you like kept the best you ever had on it, or would you not?
what I didn't like about it was the actual effect of it was I couldn't train heavy with it because it would leak out.
So your view on it is that training is more important to you than aesthetics, which makes sense. You were a big time power lifter years ago and stuff like that. So training is more important to you than being able to get something easy because you just get it injected. And then like you had a lot of muscle, but you get enhanced it. And now you can't train arms heavy anymore. You can only curl 30 pounds instead of 50 pounds.
Not even just arms. You probably couldn't train back or anything heavy because you're going to fuck up the arms.
I don't know. I still think, I mean, even if, I don't know if Derek does or doesn't have this stuff, but I mean, he still looks like he's training pretty hard.
I'm talking about with the Synthol. The PMMA, I don't know about that. Now, I don't like it because, like I said, it's not real muscle. It's something you're sticking in there.
Yeah.
Did I try it? Yeah, I tried it because, Nasser told me to do it. It didn't work for me pre-contest because I was starving to death and it didn't even work. After contest, it did work. What I didn't like about it was like I still tried to train heavy and that didn't work because it ended up leaking out.
Yeah, it leaked
out. I liked it for a minute. I'd had 21-inch arms for a few weeks, and you'd stand in line at the grocery store and people would stare.
Yeah,
because my arms were like blown up.
But I guess I'm saying if you could maintain that and still train normal, would you like that, or does it not matter to you so much? Like if you could have just maintained that peak look, but then still kept training heavy, would you have liked that? That's where I'm getting to. Is it cheating? Like, would you have done it? It's to me, it's like girls get boob implants. I still play with tits that have boob implants. I actually think it enhances some girls.
If there was no side effects to it, and I could have had real looking muscle and still been able to build my actual muscle and not lose my actual muscle, then I would probably be more in favor of it.
Okay.
But that's not the reality of the situation.
I think that if they do it correctly and they don't overdo it, I think that they can get that benefit from it, that it's pretty permanent. And then I think they can still train on it as long as they don't push where it like messes up the muscle where you can't train on it. I think they go deep inside and they're kind of like pushing out the outside muscle fibers. So I think that
now, are you talking about the PMMA or the Synthol?
Yeah, PPMA. Yeah.
Okay, the PMMA is a whole different issue. Okay. First of all, Synthol is one thing. It's oil. You're sticking it underneath the muscle. That's one thing. And I'm not saying ethically one is better than the other. I'm just saying the actual way it works.
Yeah.
The thing with PMMA is it permanently bonds to the muscle and it can kill the muscle, like literally kill the muscle.
Yeah, but it doesn't always. But I mean, boob jobs can kill the muscle too, but sometimes
no. Boob job is done underneath the muscle or on top.
Yeah, but no. But what I'm saying is sometimes they can't.
Fibers.
sometimes people can have like a encapsulation where their body is rejecting it as a foreign body, and they're having constant immune system issues
that
and stuff like
happens.
that. And sometimes it's just fine. So I think that there's some
Okay, but
PPMA
let me
that
tell you what
doesn't
the
have,
difference
people
is.
don't have the side effect of necrotic
Let me
tissue.
tell you what the difference is here. If you have a boob job that goes bad, they can remove it.
Yeah.
If the PMMA, your body rejects it, you can't remove that. There was a Brazilian talk show host when the stuff first came out a few years back. She had it done in her butt and I think maybe her hamstrings or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But her body rejected it, and they had to literally amputate whole chunks of her ass and her hamstring. She was in the hospital for over a year and almost died.
Yeah,
they had to surgically cut out the whole muscle.
But what I'm getting at is you can't show me a ton of those girls. Most of these girls, all the top 10 on the Olympia, they have zero negative. I mean, they look great. It's bonded to their muscle. They're still training. They're still doing all this stuff. So, I think in a lot of people, there's zero issue with them training on it.
I don't think we know that really, because it's kind of a new thing, and we haven't seen like long term what it's going to do.
I mean, these girls have been doing it for 10 years, and a lot of them don't have an issue. So I think that there's probably a majority of people aren't going to have what that one newscaster lady had and have her ass explode. But I think that, like, as long as it's done right, where your body doesn't reject it, I think that it's kind of a thing that they can still train on, and it's just going to kind of like hold and look good.
Now, I'll tell you another thing that I don't like about it. I'm sure you're familiar with Chris Dim.
Yep.
I competed against Chris Dim in the nationals, and I think it was 2004. We were both in the light heavyweight.
Mm.
And he had these just huge arms. They were freaky. But the rest of his body was pretty good too. So it didn't look so bad. And his arms actually looked really good. And I think that was a lot of Synthol, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Then, he got sick. He had that, I think he had a blood clot, and he got paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
Today, he still has these big ass arms, but the rest of him is like all shrunken down. Somehow the arms are still there. Like whatever he put in there stayed.
Yeah. But that was before PMMA was even existed, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if he put a different type of Synthol in there or what he did, but somehow
maybe he just gets a lot of exercise in his arms with his wheelchair, maybe.
No. These arms are like I've seen him like you see him come out of, he's been in the hospital bed for 6 months and he's shrunken to nothing. And he's still got these 20-inch arms.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
I didn't watch Sean and Bob. What was Sean and Bob's impression on what's going on?
Well, I mean, from their point, first of all, they don't admit it's even happening. Okay, so that's one.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. But their take on it is, like it's part of the sport kind of thing. But they're not really acknowledging that. They're saying that, well, Bob is in complete denial. He says that Natalia didn't even do it and it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to be frank with you. I like Natalia. I've been a fan of hers forever. But I took the time to compare the pictures that Matt put up on Muscle Discord and the videos from her competing 5 months earlier to now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, come on, there's a big fucking difference.
Did you get the photos off of NPC News Online? Because
yes. I did.
I see people posting, and I'm not saying that she didn't, but I mean, I watched it. I didn't watch it in person, but I watched it at Leo's house on the TV, and Natalie just looked better. Natalie just looked better.
Let me say, she looked amazing.
Yeah.
And she looked great. I'm not.
She looked better
I'm
than
not saying,
Sarah. She beat Sarah hands down.
no doubt about it.
Yeah,
What I'm
so
saying is
that's what bodybuilding is. It's an aesthetics show. If you look
but
better,
if you look at comparison of her competing the year before and even 5 months before in a different show,
yeah,
she looks like she grew 3 inches on her outer quads.
Okay, but
so I think there's probably something going on there.
I mean, I think there's probably something going on with a lot of Olympians, a lot of bodybuilders, but I don't. To me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's my division. If Derek is using it, it's in my division. It directly affects me competing, and I don't care. Like I think that it's just part of the sport. Am I going to use it? I mean, I have some Nolotol. I might give it a try. I might see if it works for me, to give me a little bit more freaky arms when I'm going up against some of these super freaks on stage. I mean, I tried one injection of the Metaform, and I just figured, like, if I'm going to put something in my arms, I might as well put something with steroids in it in my arms. So I just did that instead. And then I just look at it as like breast implants on a girl. Like, I don't.
No, I'm not judging her for doing it. What I'm saying is, I
don't think it's cheating. Our sport, if you inject and nobody can tell, like if we didn't have those other photos, 6 months ago, and we just saw her now and she's just like, Jesus, she just blows fucking Sarah off the stage. That's all I really care about at that show. And then if she did the injections and it turned out shit and she didn't place at all, then that would be on her. But I think that she looked way better than Sarah on that day. And that's what this sport is. This pageant is. It's a who looks better show. I mean, it's not powerlifting. We have to train like people that are in sports, but we are up there just showing our bodies for people to judge them aesthetically. And I think that using SEO, as long as you're doing it where it doesn't look like you're doing it, or it doesn't look bad, something doesn't look blown out of proportion, I think that it's just part of the sport. And like you said, it's been going on since like 1990. That's 20.
I'm not drawing a moral conclusion on this at this point. What I'm saying is, you asked me what Bob said. Bob said that she didn't do it.
Okay. Well,
and I'm saying I think she did something.
I saw Muscle Discord's video, and I think, I mean, probably she did, but I'm just saying, like, that's my view on it, is that it's just a part of the sport. If somebody wants to, do it and take that risk that it's going to look better, it's going to look worse. I mean, I think that, Milos did it years ago, and his arms looked terrible. Like his bicep just looked overinflated, and it didn't look good. I mean, another one is Flex Wheeler. His arms just didn't look right because he put too much in there. And, I think that if you get like mentally attached to having a 22-inch arm, then, you might go too far and make it look like shit and have to kind of live with that. But if you just do it to where you're enhancing something, like probably some of the best guys ever, I'm sure that Ronnie and Jay used it to kind of accentuate certain things, and it didn't look bad. And I think that it just enhanced their physiques, which is what it's supposed to do in the sport.
Again, yeah, like Flex Wheeler, I think he, at one point, when he was actually lighter, he actually looked better. And then there was one point where he was much bigger, and his shoulders were like bigger than his head.
Yeah,
but they were so full of oil that there was not a single bit of separation anywhere.
Yeah, I don't like that look when the bicep like dramatically outweighs the tricep. When the bicep just looks like super big and swollen, and it doesn't have an equally big tricep. I hate that look. And Milos had that look in the 90s for a little bit.
Well, I think just the nature of the muscle, the bicep is a more kind of a flexible muscle. So I think it's just easier to fill it up with stuff than the tricep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't do it. And obviously with the PMAA, you could do that pretty much anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't I don't care for it personally, but
I'm not personally going to do.
I know that it's been being done either with synthol or some other kind of a way forever. And here's the problem that we have. Okay, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's moral or cheating or whatever you think, what is anybody supposed to do about it? Because people are saying like IFBB should do something. What can they do really? I mean, what are they going to do? The only way to test for the stuff, I would think, would be to do an MRI.
Yeah.
And so are you going to MRI every single competitor at every show? That's not practical because
I mean, they'd have
to have money for that.
They'd have to get rid of wellness. Like they'd have to get rid of a whole fucking division if they wanted to call this cheating. I don't think it's cheating. It's an aesthetic show. It's like saying that you can't have breast implants in the Miss America pageant. Okay, well, right. I mean, let's not have the pageant then, because that's like one of the biggest enhancements.
Well, even if you thought it was cheating, you can't, there's no way. Sometimes, people do a bad job on it and you could see obviously like the shoulders are pointy and it looks weird, but other times you can't tell.
Yeah.
I mean,
I bet Hottie has it in there too. I mean, his shoulders are super triangular. I don't know if that's just from gear injections or what, but I mean, his leg that was down this year, maybe he does need some PPMA if he wants to be the best guy in the world again. Maybe he does need to enhance his one leg that was down this year.
So, yeah, I mean, bottom line is I don't think there's anything anybody can do to stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, because are you going to have the judges marking people down if they suspect somebody has something in there?
If it looks bad, they should get marked down. It's just like gynecomastia. If you got a big swollen titty, you should get marked down for that. If you got a triangular shoulder or your bicep just looks way too inflated, or you got you got zero separation, that you should be marked down for that. If somebody else on stage has a equally good physique and they have just like striated, separated, arms, biceps, and triceps, then if it looks dramatic, I think it should just be a look thing. I don't think it should be like,
with that, but if you can't tell for sure looking at it,
yeah,
and you're a judge and you're not sure,
yeah, that's the
you're
whole
not
point.
Really positive. Look, I watched the Olympia live and in person, and I thought Derek looked amazing. I had him as the winner easily. I did not see, live and in person, anything that looked like, fake muscle. Now later people, zoomed in on with photos on his arm and whatnot, and, pointed out that there's not a lot of definition there. But when he was up there posing
in motion,
I couldn't tell. I couldn't see any. All I could see is he looked big and hard, bigger and harder than everybody else on stage.
Yeah, well, so me and Leo watched it on Leo's TV, the live stream, and we didn't have him. I had Hottie winning on night one, and then you text us and you said Derek looks insane, like it's Derek is going to win this. And I was like, okay, I'm not sure. And then me and JP and Leo actually did a wrap up, and we kind of talked about it. And then people kind of like flamed JP about not saying that Derek, was going to win. And then it turned out the next night. But the people in person, I think we're seeing something different. A lot of these people online are looking at their phone. It's this
everybody in person that was there, and I did a wrap up with Jose Raymond, who was there in person, and everybody in person had Derek winning. I didn't hear one single person in person that didn't have him winning.
Yeah.
It just, when you were actually there seeing it live and him in motion, he looked crazy. And I did not suspect at all that, that anything was just site injected or anything like that. It didn't look like that.
Well, it shouldn't matter for the show then. I mean, if it just enhances someone's physique and they do it right, I think that it's just part of the show.
Well, again, what is anybody going to do to stop it? Are you really going to MRI people? Like, that's not practical.
The only thing that they could do to stop it is if they suspected somebody of it, just push them lower in the ranks. Kind of like how they got rid of the fat bellies, the bubble gut, the GH guts, in the mid 2000 late 2015s. They just started pushing people down that had that kind of gut hanging out. So I mean, that's the only way to really get rid of it, is just put guys at the top that are really don't have that specific look.
Yeah, but again, let's say somebody's doing it and they do it right and you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell. Like I said, the judges and everybody live and in person.
Yeah, this is a nothing burger argument. I mean, this is not going to go anywhere. Guys are still going to use it. They've been using it for 35 years. So, I mean, it's kind of just a nothing argument. I mean, we're just putting our opinions on what we think about it, which my opinion is I really don't care as long as it doesn't look like those guys in Brazil that have those like 4-gallon arms, or like Greg Valentino's arms, then it really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, and even if you don't like it, how are you going to enforce that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you suspect somebody. What are you going to do? MRI their whole body? Because that's what you have to
remember
do.
When what's that wellness girl's name? Sunny Andrews. It was everyone was like, oh, she's got it, and then she doesn't, and this and that, and she was getting the x-rays and this and that, and it's just
okay.
It doesn't matter.
An x-ray is not going to show shit.
Yeah.
Because it's soft tissue stuff. It's not going to show up in an x-ray.
I mean, it was just ridiculous. It's just something for people to kind of be inflamed about that really is just nothing. I mean, here we are 3 years later and nobody even talks about Sunny Andrews anymore. So it's not really a thing.
So somebody said Synthol is one thing, PMMA sucks. Okay. I have to disagree with that, because you're inflating the muscle. Whether you're putting plastic or oil in there, you're still inflating the muscle.
Yeah.
So how do you say PMMA sucks and Synthol doesn't suck? Either they both suck or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end result is kind of the same thing.
So
I think what it is Synthol's been around so long and people have been using it for so long that it's become accepted almost. And PMMA is new, and so it's not accepted so much. Look, there's some guy that has like implants on his whole body. I've seen it, like literally implants. He's got ab implants, chest implants, like they're real implants of muscles.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't look like a muscle.
It looks like a cartoon character.
It doesn't look like a muscle. It looks like an implant. So there's no free ride on that one.
Yeah, someone said it suffocates the muscle and can get infected. Yes, we discussed that, and it
also can not. I mean, most of the time it doesn't. Apparently,
I don't know I don't think we really know what the long-term things of this are going to be, and I don't think we don't necessarily hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that
people don't always report, when they're sick.
Yeah, I don't think the top Olympians really care. Like if you got 4 Miss Wellness Olympia titles, I don't know if you necessarily care as much as what these people are wanting you to care about.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I think people that are competing at the highest level, they're going to do whatever they got to do.
Yeah, and people like casting like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, you're not ever going to be the top of the fucking world, so I guess it doesn't really matter what you think. Yeah. You're never going to be number 1 in the world at this one thing. So, I mean, you can say you wouldn't do it, but you wouldn't have made it anyways. So,
and I'll be honest with you, if I was probably competing at that level and that would have made the difference between winning and losing, I might have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you think about this. winning or losing in Olympia depends on whether you do that or not.
Maybe not though. I mean, there's guys that might not do it. I mean, I don't necessarily think that Martin is doing it, and he's probably going to win an Olympia in the next couple years.
Maybe not. We don't know. I mean, I don't know what he's really doing or not doing. Do you?
No, I don't, but I don't necessarily think he's doing that. His just the shape of his muscles doesn't look like he's doing it to me.
I don't know if he's doing PMMA, but Synthol he could be doing site injections or whatever. I can see him. He could be doing that. We wouldn't be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be able to tell.
Dorian didn't do anything. What do you think?
I think you're full of shit. Let me tell you why you're full of shit. Because Dorian competed with Nasser, and they both were shredded. And Nasser from the front was more shredded than Dorian at that last Olympia that they competed in. And Nasser was full of fucking Synthol. So how do you know if Dorian did it or not? You don't know. We don't know.
Somebody, yeah, I don't know.
You don't know, because I've seen people that did it that were top Olympian competitors, and they looked fucking amazing.
So we gotta talk about one other part about this, because the Muscle Discord guy said that somehow Tamer, which is like the top promoter, does Tamer own Muscle Contest?
He took it over from what's his
John
name?
Lindsay?
Old guy John Lindsay, yes.
Okay. So Tamer apparently is the manager, owner of Muscle Contest, and somehow he's the one that's linked to taking Natalie and Derek to Brazil to this clinic and stuff like that. So that's where there might be a little bit of something. These guys doing it and having it and stuff doesn't matter to me. It's a nothing burger. But Tamer being in it, and he owns the company that's like promoting the Olympia, and his brother is a judge and stuff like that. Maybe there's something there. I mean, if there's nepotism on that, but I mean, if he could just give it to the guy he wants to win anyways, he doesn't have to go through all this shit to take it down there. So if they're saying like, oh, he got a kickback because the thing, and now the Olympia because he could just tell, if there's that much nepotism, he could just tell the judges, like, I just want this guy to win. So it's kind of a nothing thing to say that, like, because he lined up the surgery or whatever, that it's like a big thing. So
I think they're saying that he enticed certain athletes to promote Muscle Contest, and in doing so, having them do this.
I've never seen Derek promote Muscle Contest in any way.
There's pictures of Derek at that clinic with and Derek's coach, his training coach, not Chris Aceto, but his training coach was at the clinic getting his chest done.
Yeah, but I don't see how that promotes.
There's pictures of Derek in the clinic.
I don't see how that promotes Muscle Contest, though.
I don't know that. I don't know that. I know Natalia promotes Muscle Contest. I know that for a fact. She's like on their team. I
mean, they make a ton of money. They do a show every weekend of NPC and all this stuff. Tamer and Tarek they're not hurting for money where they have to make an extra couple grand by getting a kickback from some.
No, I don't. I think that part is bullshit. And part of this whistleblower thing I have a problem with, because, like, okay, who is this whistleblower that's making these accusations? Right now, they're accusations coming from what's his name? Because we don't know who this person is. We don't know how valid his story is, or it's completely cockamamie bullshit. There's too much speculation going on as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation on how big this story is going to be.
Yeah, and they say a whistleblower, but they're remaining anonymous because they're in fear of their life in Brazil. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't know, that sounds bullshit to me.
Sounds dramatic. I mean, this That muscle discord guy is trying to make it more dramatic than it really is. I don't think it's that big of a story.
Yeah. Do you really think that, somebody's going to say somebody injected themselves with something so they're going to knock them off? Like, I guess anything's possible, but I think that's kind of far out.
But, I don't know. They think that the IFBB is the mafia somehow.
Yeah.
Somebody in the comments said the oil mafia.
And somebody said that, if Dorian had used it, he would have fixed his torn bicep. No, you can't fix a torn bicep with this.
Yeah.
When you tear a muscle and it rolls up and it's shorter, you could put stuff in it, but it's still going to be shorter. You can't fix that by putting stuff in it.
Just
You're still going to have a gap between his bicep and his arm in his elbow. It's going to be there. So you can't fix a torn muscle by sticking something in it. Mm-hmm. Like my torn tricep, like it's halfway up my arm. Could I make it bigger putting stuff in it? Yes, I could. Is it going to look like a full tricep? No, it's not going to, because it doesn't go all the way into my elbow. So no, he couldn't have fixed it with this or anything else. The muscle has to go all the way to the full insertion in order for the stuff to even. It could get bigger, but it's not going to look right. It's still going to look weird.
Yeah. All right. We beat this topic to death. What do we have anything else we wanted to talk about this week, or is that pretty much the drama of the week?
Well, I think for a lot of people, it's like a big issue because of the people that are being accused happen to be the winners of the Olympia. So that's why if it was Joe Blow, 10th place bodybuilder, even at the Olympia, no one would give a shit. But because we're talking about the winners, I think that's why it's become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's get real. The people who are the winners, that's who everybody kind of looks up to and follows what they did. I know when Ronnie Coleman was Mr. Olympia, everybody wanted to train like Ronnie, be like Ronnie, do what Ronnie did. When Dorian was Mr. Olympia, everybody wanted to do what Dorian did. Same thing with Phil Heath. We all kind of look at the top guy and whatever they're doing.
So does that mean this is going to be the era of PPMA? Or PMMA? It's going to be everyone next year is going to have 25-inch arms.
I would say that if the winners keep winning, and if people really believe that they're actually doing this, then yeah, more people are going to fall in line and copy that because they're going to do what they need to do to be successful.
Yeah.
It's just like in business. If you want to make money and you see your competitor has some kind of marketing strategy or however they're doing it to make money, you're probably going to try to do that too because it's working. Mm-hmm. So whatever's working, people are going to try to do it. So yeah, if the people that are winning are doing these things and it becomes known that they're doing these things, yeah, more people are going to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Is everybody going to do it? No. But if it becomes this is what wins, then yeah, people are going to do it. Now, then it comes a point okay, when does it come a point where now you have rich pianos up there and where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line of what's okay and what's too much?
Yeah.
So I think this is an ongoing issue. I don't think there's anything that the IFBB can do to prevent it or stop it or enforce it.
I think guys just need to keep it within reason. If we can't tell if you're doing it, keep it like that. Just enhance it slightly, but where we can't really tell.
And again, you know, everybody's going to have their own moral conclusions about it, you know. But yeah, people are going to do what they have to win. And that's the bottom line. And I don't think there's anything anybody can do to stop it. You know, they tried diuretic testing one time and that didn't work.
Everyone looked like, didn't they have like a what was it? No steroids one year, like in 90.
Yeah, they tried to drug test steroids. That didn't work, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was because they wanted to get it on ESPN or something like that.
Yeah, it didn't work. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really. I just hope it doesn't get to a point where it's like so out of hand that, you know, bodybuilding doesn't becomes like a joke, like everybody's full of plastic. Because it's not like a really good. Would you admire somebody if you just know that they're just full of plastic and they don't even barely work out?
Yeah, probably not. But I mean, we're kind of going in that direction anyways. They're starting to make myostatin inhibitors and stuff like that, where people will have to work out 10% as hard as we had to you know, in the steroid era. So that's just going to be the kind of the future. It's going to be more genetic manipulation and get easier and easier. But I mean, you know, it's just part of the reality. I mean, if it's going to be like, you can't really tell if you did it the hard way or the easy way, then I guess it just is going to come down to the people that enjoy training are going to still pick the hard way, and people that want to just look aesthetically. There's a ton of guys that, like, I've, you know, met people at, you know, parties and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, have you gotten implants or this or that? And I'm like, no, I'm a professional bodybuilder. I just lift weights. And they're like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting like calf implants. And I'm like, more power to you, but I think it's silly, but like, I don't really care. But I'm not going to be like, oh shit, this guy's got 25-inch arms. Those are so impressive if they're just bicep implants, you know?
Right.
I think that it's going to go back to like the people that work hard are going to be more respected for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing right now as far as like what direction things are going to go in.
Yeah, we're in like a transitionary spot.
Well, I don't see it going away though. Like Synthol's been here for what, 30 years now.
Yeah, and they'll probably make something better even the next time around.
Yeah, what if they're going to develop a better system of PMMA or some other thing that they're going to stick in there that you're not going to be able to tell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And I think the only thing that judges can do is do the best they can to judge what's in front of them. But really, if you can't tell, a judge can't just arbitrarily mark somebody down because they think maybe there's something in their arms.
Yeah.
You know, or wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see there being any way to enforce this or regulate it or anything. It's here to stay and it's not going away.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the only thing that they can really do for it is just if somebody starts looking not good, like their arms just are like, you know, if their body is like 220 pounds and their arms are 25 inches, then it just looks ridiculous. If it looks ridiculous, they're just going to like kind of go away, you know, push that person down in the ranking.
Yeah.
But
all right, I think we've hammered this subject to death. And that's primarily what we wanted to talk about today. Unfortunately, it's not my favorite subject, but
people like that. Lenny, we talked about it last time. We got like a ton of views on that one when we were talking about all the different types of SEOs, and Austin was on his experience and stuff. So I wonder what Leo thinks. We'll have to ask him when he comes back what he thinks about it.
I will say this. I think there's going to be a lot of people that actually want to do this. more than you think.
Oh, no, I think a lot of people will want to because they don't want to go through the difficulty. I mean, look at the GLPs and look at, I think that there's a lot of things. I mean, people even say like, oh, he took steroids because he didn't want to go through the hard way. But I mean, that's, kind of up to your just whatever you want to do about it, I guess.
No, I'm saying there's going to be a lot of people like, why do I have to train my ass off?
Yeah.
And, work so hard and be sore and,
is this the same thing as the Brazilian butt lift? Is that the same stuff?
No, the Brazilian butt lift is where they like literally remove like the fat from their belly or other places in their body,
just put it on their butt.
And they re-inject it into their ass.
Oh, okay.
And so they're putting fat in their ass, so they have a big fat ass.
I like big fat asses.
Well, that's what it is. They're
sticking. I don't like Brazilian butts because the Brazilian butt lift because they got no quads and then they just got this big round fucking butt. So
I actually saw a wellness competitor at a wellness show several years ago. I want to say this is like 5-6 years ago at the LA Fit Expo, and she had butt implants. And when I say butt implants, she had like something in her ass. And she was so lean, you could like see the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was like
implants when girls get real lean. So, I mean, people are saying like, what about you could just do an implant and stuff? And like, you can't really because it would be like visible. There'd be like a hard edge coming out of the.
Yeah. You could see this implant. You could see the whole you could see the whole, like the outer, like you said, the edge of the implant where it's stuck in there. It didn't look like a muscle. It looked like an implant.
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't rank very well.
No, but apparently she was a top wellness competitor in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
But
interesting.
But I mean, it was so obvious. She had this thing in her ass. You could literally see the whole separation of the implant sticking out. So it didn't look like muscle at all. It looked stupid.
Yeah.
And of course that sort of thing doesn't flex or anything either.
Yeah.
Now one thing I would say, Derek always had this thing when he flexed his lats that like they really expand out.
Yeah.
And from what I know of the PMMA, from what I've seen, and even Synthol, it doesn't flex very well. So if his lats were all PMMA, I don't think they would expand out like that.
I don't think he has anything in his lats. I think that he has this like Terry's muscle just is like very developed on him. So I think that when he does his like lat stuff, I can feel mine. Literally, I can like grab mine right now. Like it just is like a round muscle right there.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen him pose in person, and when he hits his front double, his lats just pop out like a cobra.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work with injecting a whole bunch of anything in there.
I don't think
the muscle would expand out like that. I don't think it would flex like that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't do that. It would be like Rich Piana's arm, where it would just be permanently like that.
Did you ever see the videos of Rich Piana riding a motorcycle and it was just like his arms were out and it's just like tricep was just sticking out and his bicep was just sticking out?
Yeah. That's how he looked in person. I mean, he'd stand there and it was just sticking out.
Yeah.
And then he'd flex and nothing would happen. It would just be the same.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you suspect that maybe somebody has this in them, but you may not really be able to tell.
Yeah. Do we get any questions in here? If anybody has any relevant questions or whatever, we can extend the podcast a couple more minutes if anybody wants to.
Do you have any other questions on anything bodybuilding related besides this subject? Or
this subject is dead. We have beaten this one to death.
I know there's a lot of people commented on this, but I didn't read every single one of them.
Somebody asked what I'm on. Let me see where their comment was. What? Let's see. It was a ways back. Let me find it. Oh, geez. We got a lot of comments on this one. Donald Pump comments like 100 times.
Someone
He's
said,
active.
"Why does
We
Valentino
appreciate
deny
you, buddy. You're
Synthol?"
active. That's not it.
Valentino said he injected his arms full of testosterone, propionate.
I believe Valentino. I think that he just
Yeah, I mean, what's the difference between injecting oil or injecting oil with steroids in it? It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what he said. He said I think he said he had put it in there, and then he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna put, like, he said he was like putting like 10 cc's of like test propionate in each arm, like at one point.
Someone said I should do a show. I competed for 30 fucking years. That's enough.
He's
I
retired.
don't need to.
All
I
right,
need to do
I
it.
found the comment. It was from V-Shape 90. It says, Luke, just saying that because he. Oh no, this was about the my comment about the SEO. Just saying it because I wanted. The stuff is permanent. You can tell a big difference. That wasn't the one. Sorry, let me see. Oh, maybe I was too high. I don't know. He was asking what I was on and if I was going. Oh, Luke, how much gear are you on, Luke? Do you still compete? Currently 0. I mean, if you consider HCG gear, then that's what I'm on. But currently none. But I'm going to get on some pretty soon. Phil wrote me a program for the hair, so that's how it's looking. It's coming in, but still, it hasn't even supposed to be growing in. So I've been off for the hair, and it was time for me to take a break. I'd been on for like 9 months. My current weight's about 240, and I got my my blood test tested with the Rhythm Health, and I was kind of mid on my testosterone, but my free testosterone was above the range by a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm not really like, so I guess I'm going to do, he said 50 milligrams a day of test and 50 milligrams a day of, he wanted me to do DECA, but I don't want to do DECA. I want to do NPP. And then some Ostarine, 20 milligrams.
Who wanted you to do DECA?
Phil, my coach. 20 milligrams of Ostarine and then 20 milligrams of Anavar, and then I think 4 units of HGH on the night before I train. So that's what I will be on.
Why does he want you to do the Ostarine?
I don't know. I got to ask him. I think because it's hair, it's like safer for your hair.
Does he think it actually works?
I think it actually works. I know women that have taken it that have gotten really good results on it.
That's a SARM, right?
Yeah. I've never tried any SARMs, so I'm kind of like interested to see. But you know, I guess my total dosage will be about a gram, about 1,000 milligrams between the Anavar and the. It'll be 700 between the test and NPP, and then 140 of Ostarine and 140 of Anavar. So close to 1,000 milligrams. But yeah, I don't know. He's my coach, so I'm just doing what he says. But yeah, that's gonna be my current stack once I get back on.
What is my opinion on posing rounds being scored? I think that the posing sucks nowadays because there's no emphasis on it. And I think it should be scored because back in the day, we put a lot of effort into the posing because it did matter as far as like your placings. And now because it doesn't matter, the posing routines absolutely suck. Nick Walker had the worst posing routine I've ever seen at the Olympia.
I don't think Nick practices his posing routine.
He literally walked out there, did like 4 mandatory poses and walked off the stage. That was his routine. It absolutely was horrible.
I think that they stopped doing it because of if they did it at the NPC level, then shows would just go like, there's so many competitors in the NPC level. So I think they should maybe bring it back to the pro level because you get 3-minute posing. Each person gets 3 minutes for posing in the pros. But I think that in the amateur level, it's just it's not time wouldn't work.
I think it should be scored, but only on a limited amount. In other words, let's say somebody's an amazing poser, but they have no muscle on them. Well,
Like
they
25,
can't.
it's like 25% posing and 75% the mandatory rounds.
I wouldn't even say that. Maybe like 10, 15%.
10%. Okay, so it's just a little edge. It's not going to change.
Yeah, but at least there's some incentive to try to do a good routine.
Yeah.
You know, they could make the difference between winning and taking second or third. It shouldn't make the difference between winning and taking 10th.
Okay. I agree. Do you have any stories about Greg Zulak from Muscle Mag?
I never heard. I heard of him, but I don't know anything about him. Never met him. Know nothing about him. So I couldn't.
Okay.
No, don't know anything about him at all.
Somebody came in late. Jeff came in late. He said, "Oh, it's cheating." I don't know if he's at the beginning or the end of the podcast. He's
I think we beat this horse to death already.
Yeah. So
all right. I think we're gonna wrap it.
Guys,
if you have any comments, go ahead and leave your comments, and because we do want to hear your opinions on this. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
Samir Bannout posted something earlier on Facebook, and there was a lot of opinions on it. So, and just to see what you guys think. We told you what we think.
Yeah. Drop it in the comments.
All right.
So
we'll see you guys next week. And if you have anything for next week, don't forget, subscribe, and you can reach us through our Instagrams or
shoot Larry an email or Instagram and tell what topics you guys want us to cover.
Yeah, whatever you want us to cover, let us know, and we'll do it in the following upcoming things.
So, all right. Wrap it.
I believe